In the shadowy corners of Greek mythology, where passion and power intertwine, lies the unsettling story of Zeus and Leda. Unlike the more palatable versions often told, the darker narrative paints a chilling portrait of divine lust and mortal vulnerability, exposing the cruel realities of a god's unchecked desires. Leda was the beautiful queen of Sparta, renowned for her grace and wisdom. Married to Tyndareus, the king, her life seemed one of relative stability and happiness. But the gaze of the king of gods, Zeus, had fallen upon her, and what he desired he always took. His obsessions often led to disastrous consequences for mortals, but Zeus was indifferent to the lives he shattered in pursuit of his pleasures. For Leda, however, the consequences would be particularly tragic, forever altering her life and the fates of her children. On the night when Zeus decided to claim Leda, he chose deception and transformation to achieve his goal. Disguising himself as a swan, Zeus descended from Mount Olympus in a flurry of feathers and grace. The swan appeared fragile and desperate, seemingly fleeing from a predatory eagle. Leda, compassionate by nature, reached out to the bird, hoping to protect it from harm. In that moment, Zeus revealed his true intentions, not as a creature in need, but as a god driven by uncontrollable lust. The act itself was brutal and terrifying. Zeus, in his swan form, overpowered Leda. The swan's wings, at once soft and suffocating, enveloped her, rendering her helpless to the god's will. In many versions of the tale, the encounter is softened, portrayed as a seduction rather than a violation, but the truth lies in the violence of the act. Leda, a mortal, was forced into submission by the most powerful of gods, leaving her traumatized and forever marked by the divine encounter. Leda's suffering did not end with the attack. That very night, she also lay with her husband, Tyndareus. This led to a strange and eerie outcome. Soon after, Leda gave birth to 2 eggs, from which 4 children emerged: Helen, Clytemnestra, and the twins Castor and Pollux. The origins of these children were shrouded in mystery. Helen and Pollux were said to be the children of Zeus, immortal and bearing his godly lineage, while Clytemnestra and Castor were of mortal descent, fathered by Tyndareus. The consequences of Zeus's actions reverberated through the lives of these children, especially Helen, whose beauty would one day lead to the Trojan War, one of the greatest tragedies in Greek myth. Helen's divine parentage made her irresistible, a pawn in the gods' eternal games, and her elopement with Paris set in motion a chain of events that would lead to the downfall of countless heroes and the destruction of Troy. Castor and Pollux, the inseparable twins, also bore the burden of their mixed heritage. While Pollux was immortal like his father Zeus, Castor was mortal, and their bond was tragically severed by death, leaving Pollux to suffer alone. Leda, the unwilling participant in Zeus's dark desire, was left to endure the aftermath of her children's tumultuous fates. Some versions of the myth suggest that she took her own life, unable to bear the weight of her trauma and the chaos unleashed upon her family. Others imply that she was simply forgotten, a mortal woman discarded by the gods after they had taken what they wanted from her. The tale of Zeus and Leda is not one of love or consent, but of power and violation. Zeus's predatory nature, cloaked in divine majesty, reveals the darker side of the gods, who often acted without regard for the mortals caught in their wake. For Leda, the queen of Sparta, the cost of Zeus's desire was not just her dignity, but the lives of her children and the suffering that followed. In this myth, the gods are not benevolent or just. They are capricious, cruel, and driven by base desires, using their power to exploit those beneath them. Leda's story serves as a grim reminder of the dangers of divine intervention in human lives and the high cost of attracting the attention of the gods. The encounter between Zeus and Leda, far from being a romanticized liaison, is a cautionary tale about the abuse of power and the dark consequences of unchecked lust. This myth serves as a stark reminder that even the gods, with all their might and grandeur, were not immune to the corrupting influence of power. Zeus, the king of the gods, used his divine abilities to manipulate and control, leading to a tragic and morally complex narrative. Leda's story is a poignant reflection on the vulnerability of mortals in the face of divine whims. It underscores the importance of questioning authority and recognizing the potential for harm when power is left unchecked. As we reflect on this ancient tale, it is crucial to remember that the lessons it imparts are timeless. The abuse of power, whether by gods or humans, always carries with it a heavy price.